Yesterday's video, which you can watch here, covered the ins and outs of the specs of the GeForce GTX 960 and how it stacks up in the landscape of other single GPU graphics card configurations for gamers. Today's video is two things. It's a look at the overclocking results and performance of Gigabyte G1 Gaming Edition 960, a higher priced but perhaps higher performance alternative to ASUS's STRIX 960, and second, it's an investigation of the sensibility of running 960s in SLI versus buying a single 970. On the subject of sensibility, do quick charging phone wall adapters make sense? That's an upcoming video, but for now, this one. Cooler Master's Case Mod World Series is your opportunity to show off your modding skills and win great prizes. Entries close February 7th, 2015. Click now to learn more. So we'll start with a brief rundown of the GTX 960 with a particular emphasis on Gigabyte's implementation. G1 Gaming is their top tier of card, and aside from being overbuilt with a 6-phase power design and dual 6-pin PCIe connectors, it features a chip that's gone through what Gigabyte calls the GPU Gauntlet Sorting to guarantee higher overclocking capabilities, and given that we got ours running stable at 1565 megahertz throughout our test suite, we either got lucky or what they're doing is working. The cooler plays a role here as well though, with the WindForce 3X's quad 6mm heat pipe triple fan design doing a great job of staying quiet and keeping our chip cool under load at a maximum of 67 degrees Celsius, even with the card overclocked to the max, the way that we do for our GPU testing, and it managed to stay completely silent at idle and under light loads with a neato LED indicator next to the illuminated WindForce logo that tells you if the fans are off and the card is running in silent mode, something that more and more cards are able to do these days, but hey, it's a feature that's on here, thought I better mention it. I'm not sure why though that we need the LED indicator, because I could just look at the fans if I wanted to know if they were stopped, but whatever, Gigabyte. On to the rest of the card. It's got a PCIe Gen 3 16X slot on the bottom, a single SLI connector on the top for support of up to two-way SLI. It's got the same technologies as other GTX 960s, so that's H.265 encoding and decoding, dynamic super resolution, MFAA anti-aliasing, which we used for our testing thanks to its similar appearance and smaller performance hit compared to MSAA, and great power efficiency with this card drawing only 250 watts total from the wall for the entire system when overclocked under load in CRYSIS 3. But it also has one other special tech, something that Gigabyte calls Flex Display Technology, which is basically an onboard active DisplayPort to DVI adapter that affords users a little bit more flexibility, especially those using an older DVI-based display. Just pay attention to the coding on the back of the I/O shield for which ones you can plug in at the same time. Now, aside from the stuff that I covered so far and different stock and boost clock speeds, at their hearts, all GTX 960s are essentially the same, with 2 gigs of GDDR5 memory on a 128-bit bus, a fully enabled Maxwell architecture GM206 processing core with all the CUDA cores and SMXs that go along with that, and a price in the $200 to $230 range. So you might be questioning the point of doing a review of one 960 yesterday and another one today, which is why we spent a little bit of extra time and not only threw our WindForce 960 at its max overclock, the full OC spreadsheet, by the way, is linked in the video description below, onto our standard 5960X test bench, but we also ran it in SLI with our STRIX card to see how two $200-ish cards stack up to a single one of their $350-ish big brother, the GTX 970. So our single card testing didn't reveal any great revelations. It turns out that when you clock one GTX 960 slightly faster than another one, it performs ever so slightly better. Whether this and all the pros and cons of one card versus another is worth another $15 or not to you is entirely your deal. But our SLI 960 versus 970 at 4K results were ever so slightly more interesting. In spite of the 960's much lower memory bandwidth and half-sized frame buffer, remember, two 2-gig cards is 2 gig effective VRAM in SLI. It scaled well in SLI considering the price of this solution compared to a single 970, except in WoW where it didn't at all. So I think that that pretty much wraps it up for the Gigabyte G1 Gaming GTX 960 and also our GTX 960 coverage in general. We used to do a lot more videos about the different variants of a particular graphics core, but unless something really exciting and unexpected happens, this will likely be our last word on this one. If you're looking for a quiet and efficient single GPU solution, it's a great choice. If heat, power consumption, and noise are non-issues for you, the R9 290 for as little as $40 more compared to a card like this stomps it. And if you're looking to pair up two graphics cards, then I would personally go with a single GTX 970 over two 960s for the 4GB frame buffer and the more consistent performance across a variety of games that comes with using a single GPU. Speaking of affordable and consistent, today's sponsor, Ting.com. Ting uses the Sprint network, so anywhere with good Sprint service will have good Ting service, but it's their billing strategy that sets them apart from other wireless carriers. Instead of locking you into some arbitrary, 250 minutes of this and 500 megabytes of that, Ting lets you use and pay for exactly what you need. And what's cool is that if you're not sure whether this strategy will actually work out better for you, visit linus.ting.com to enter your last few bills, and it'll spit out how much you would have paid by switching to Ting. So head over there today and give it a whirl. If you like what you see, you can even get a partial credit towards making the switch. Whoop whoop. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you thought it sucked, leave a comment if your feelings are more complicated than this. As always, linked in the video description, we have a place to buy t-shirts like this one, give us a monthly contribution, or change your Amazon bookmark to $1 affiliate code. So we get a small kickback whenever you buy graphics cards or whatever else it is you buy on Amazon. That kind of thing helps us out a lot. Thanks again for watching, and as always, don't forget to subscribe.